Greetings, your friendly neighborhood Ketchup man, and welcome back to Ketchup Court. Now listen, the Brendan Banfield trial is back on this week. It's literally back in like a couple of hours. I think it starts in an hour's time, and we are just on this stream. We are going to go through a quick recap, a brief synthesis of the key testimonies from day one and day two and day three, where day one and day two was pretty much dominated by the au pair giving testimony in regards to her involvement and the plan that was executed by Brendan Banfield. We are going to be examining her testimony. We are also going to be talking about the theories and what is likely going to happen as this trial progresses to day 4. So without further, sit back so that we can go into the Brendan Banfield trial. Let's get on with it.
But maybe we've spent too long trying to figure all this out with theory.
You're a scientist, Bran.
So listen to me when I say that love isn't something we invented. It's observable, powerful.
Okay. For those that do not know, Brendan Banfield and Juliana Magalhaes were having an affair, and as we know, like Brendan Banfield is married to Christine Banfield, who was the victim in this case. The state theorizes that Brendan had orchestrated all of this, that he was the one to have orchestrated the killing of Christine Banfield and also the killing of Joseph Ryan. How he did it? By creating a FedLife account to lure Joseph Ryan, because he believed that he was coming in to perform a sexual assault scenario on Christine Banfield, who was the face of the profile. He had thought that she was the one inviting him over to do all of these things. So there was, on day one, they went ahead to the day being the state went ahead to present this theory, right? And they went ahead to basically say that with the testimony from Beckner, that there was no light in the house. I thought I highlight this because it's quite interesting that there was that the light was not on. So this gives credibility to their theory that this would have been a scenario in which he was gonna go in and basically he being Joseph Ryan, by the way, was gonna go in and perform this entire assault. And also there was testimony also from that Brendan had washed his hands at the hospital. So this is where the defense was making a headway, in my opinion, because by highlighting, anyway, I should basically say that the defense were highlighting that the state did not take proper investigative steps. The detectives, anyway, I should say, did not take proper investigative steps to collect all the evidence. So the blood on Brendan Banfield's hands, they just allowed him to just go off into the hospital and wash him off. Of course, he wasn't considered as a suspect. That was established early on. Also, from there, the medical examiner, Miss Kessler, came in and testified in regards to Christine, who was found naked at the scene. She was partially clothed during the autopsy, and Miss Kessler observed 3 stab wounds on the left side of her neck and multiple stab wounds on her body. This is going to be crucial because of the testimony that is going to be given by Juliana Magalhaes, and also just the last one. Kessler also noted testimony in regards to Joe Ryan being shot in the eye, and he had died instantly. And this was, I believe, was done likely done by Juliana, and also Joe Ryan was also shot in the chest. So I believe this was done by Brendan. There was nothing testified to. It's just what I'm guessing based on the testimonies provided. It would have seemed likely that Brendan would have shot him in the chest based on the position he was in, based on what Juliana Magalhaes testified to. So going into the testimony, we now going into the key testimony of all this, and that is Juliana Magalhaes' testimony, right? She was the one saying that Brendan was the one orchestrating the whole operation to kill Christine when they were at their house, at a New York apartment, basically, with the daughter Valerie. She also testified that Brendan wanted to raise kids with her. Also testified that divorce was not an option for Brendan. She also testified that Brendan stood to lose out on Valerie, the daughter, which is why the divorce wasn't an option. He was going to lose custody. He also testified, she also testified that Christine was going to receive a lot of money from this entire from the divorce had he proceeded through that way. So it was never an option for him. On top of that testimony, Christine also not Christine my bad Miss Magalhaes also testified about going to the gun range and on the 29th of October, as well as in December 2022 to basically practice their shooting, etc. She also testified in regards to the creation of the FetLife account, which is the fetish site that I was alluding to earlier, where they have met Joseph Ryan. So this fetish site is that was basically the plan, basically lure someone into the house, bringing telling them what equipments to bring so that they can act out this whole fetish fantasy. And on top of and the state basically was focusing on showing that Brendan was denying ever meeting in public, that was never an option, so that they can drive their theory forward. So now, with all that established, of course, we know as well that they were in an affair. The key testimony that she gave was, she being Juliana Magalhaes, gave was that she had moved into the family bed. So basically, the bed that Brendan and Christine used to share. Yeah, she had moved in there after the murders had happened, which is basically an advancement on the plan that they have. So let's go into the testimony given in regards to the day of the murder, because this is very, very key. This is the key testimony, and this is in regards to communicating with Joseph Ryan, the second victim in this, on Telegram. So let's listen to the testimony.
Now I'm going to show you Commonwealth 73, and I would ask for this to be displayed to counsel and witness only. And if I could have the court's indulgence for just one moment.
Sure.
Okay. Do you have something on your screen in front of you?
Yes.
Okay. And Judge, Commonwealth 73 has been stipulated, admissibility has been stipulated by the parties.
All right. Yes, sir. Okay, that's true. Okay, 73 in evidence. Thank you.
Yep. And so we could publish. I'm not going to scroll through all of the bubbles, but I'm just going to scroll through a few pages so that you can get a sense of.
Wrong timestamp. Okay, let's go. This is the proper timestamp. Sorry about that. Wrong timestamp. Went too far ahead. Let's move on.
When you spoke on the phone, did Joe comment on your accent?
Yes.
What did he say?
That was the first thing he said. As soon as I said hi, he was surprised that I had an accent. And he asked, "Oh, you have an accent?" I didn't know. And I told him, yes.
Okay, so what she's testifying to here is, well, first and foremost, the foundation is that she testified that Brendan has set up the Telegram messaging for both the account created with the name Anastasia, which is Christine Banfield's middle name. So with that name, this was Juliana going to pretend to be this Anastasia person, and they know it's the accent. I do believe that this testimony is helpful, but I need to see the coercion aspect that they are going, because they need to play that to at least remove her involvement and justify giving her a plea deal, because to me it seems like she is a willing participant in all of this. But of course she has confirmed that she did speak with Joe, who is the second victim, and from there she was the one being used to lure him to the place. So let's go on to the next testimony, in which she testifies in regards to what happened when Joe got to the house, and essentially when Joe got to the house, they had moved into the bedroom where Christine was at. Before that entire ordeal happened, before that entire ordeal happened, Joe was Brendan was sent away. Well, he went away to McDonald's to make it seem like he was away from the scene and was coming back to the scene to carry out the killing. That's what she testified to before this, and then she had notified him to come back to the house, and this is how we got here. So now she's describing when both her and Joe went upstairs to see when her and Brendan went upstairs to see Joe in the bedroom.
And what did you see when you went inside the bedroom?
When we first get into the bedroom, I could see the bed we have in the master bedroom. It was kind of tall, and so from my point of view, all I could see was like Joe at the moment, and it was Joe like on top of Christine, in a way I'll describe holding her down, and that was my first view as soon as I get into the bedroom.
Were you able to tell, were you able to see Christine at all at that point?
At that point, no.
Did anyone say anything when the two of you went into the bedroom?
Yeah, when I got to the bedroom, Brendan said, he yelled, "Police officer," and Christine's first reaction, that was the first time I heard she say anything at that point. Then she yelled back at Brendan, saying, "Brendan, he has a knife." And yeah, that's when Brendan first shot Joe.
I do think that she's being credible here. I really do believe that, because that is a unique information. I don't know. I can't see her making this up, but making that part up. But I do believe her there for some reason, and the fact that he was the one to have shot Joe. That's why I said earlier, I believe he shot him in the chest. And yeah, that's why I said that. So now we're going to go on to the next part of the testimony, because that testimony was crucial to at least put Joe to be the one responsible for the death after going through the orchestration of the plan. So this is where she is going to describe what Brendan did after, because this part of the detail cannot be ignored, because remember, Joe is supposed to be the one to have killed her. That's the that's the defense kind of theory, that he was the intruder. So with the state theory is he was the one to kill her, and this testimony is vital to proving that. Let's listen.
And at this point in time, could you see Christine?
Yes.
What did you see Brendan do next?
When I when I was bringing him the towel, he got on top of her, and that's when I first saw him stabbing her with a knife.
Where on her body was he stabbing her?
Her neck.
And were you able to see whether or not he stabbed her one time or more than one time?
When I first saw that happening, I ran to the other side of the bed, and I was just crouching down on myself and covering my ears and covering my eyes, and a few times I looked and I was able to see him stabbing her, and he would stab, and other times he would hold the knife in a position how that was.
You can see how difficult it is for her to make this
He said he was
testimony.
holding the knife in a position.
Yeah.
How was he holding it?
This position, I think when the way he stabbed, he was just kind of like holding it, putting pressure on it.
Well, we have this stream is going to be for 30 minutes long, so we only have 15 minutes left. So what I believe that this part of the testimony is very credible. The only reason why the plea deal has dominated things, and I'm going to get into it now, because partially because of the fact that, I mean, she testified to shooting. She testified to shooting Joe when he was on the floor, when Brendan did not react, when she was calling out to Brendan and he didn't react. She testified to that, but the main point is the cross-examination, and this is why a lot of people I feel did not find her at all credible, and I'm gonna go through a bit why I do think that it did do a lot of damage, but it's still repairable. Let's go on to hear what she has to say in her testimony on cross-examination, where she outlines where it was, well, basically jail letters were being read to her when she was in prison. The plea deal that she was offered was time served. That was established on direct examination. She was recommended to get time served for her guilty plea of involuntary manslaughter. So Magalhaes, Juliana Magalhaes wanted to die so much. That's what she said in the letter. Let's listen to that, because I believe that there is a reason why this was offered, even though it may be coming across as sympathetic to the jury.
Okay, and is this a
Oh,
letter?
I think it was November.
Oh, I did say October, sorry, November.
Yes.
And it says, "Hi, Mimi." Can you describe who that is?
It's Brendan's mother.
Okay, and so this is a letter to Brendan's mother, like the second one that I showed you?
Yes.
Okay. And can you just look at this and tell me whether you know that to be your letter that you wrote or not?
It is the letter that I wrote.
It's the letter you wrote? Okay, good. And if you could, I'm going to scroll down and make sure I catch
Let's
all
fast
the
forward a
highlighted
bit.
portions. So let me start with,
To do. I said it before, how disturbing my thoughts have been recently. I'd rather to die than live like this, live with this pain. It's too painful for me.
Okay. And that's obviously very serious language for you to write. What were you experiencing that caused you to write that particular portion of the letter?
Depression.
Okay.
All right. So that testimony, I believe they're offering this testimony because I really do think that they are preempting a coercion strategy, because Brendan is a federal agent. So I do think that as this trial goes on, they are going to maybe present witnesses to discuss the power dynamics between, his knowledge of the law and how his knowledge of how these things go down as a federal agent, and how this may have convinced Juliana to get involved, even though she may not or may not want to have been involved. So that's why I think it was offered, so that when it comes to that coercion aspect, it shows that she wasn't, she was more in love with Brendan rather than actually being coerced to do it. That, hey, I personally also think that there's probably a likelihood of the defense presenting an alternate theory in regards to Juliana involvement. I'll go into that near the end of the stream. So but yeah, let's continue on to the next part of the cross-examination, which I thought was worthy of noting on top of this one. And this was with the part in which it was established that Juliana was communicating with her ex-boyfriend.
I said, I am in a terrible and deep pain. I wish I could take it away. I cannot stand with it. I can't do this. It would be too much pain.
Sorry. That this is not the ex-boyfriend. This is the anxiety meds. So this is bolstering the argument in regards to the entire coercion aspect I was speaking to earlier. So this testimony right here is for anxiety and depression. I clicked the wrong info. So let's move. So this is the part that I wanted, which is the testimony in regards to the ex-boyfriend.
Former boyfriend?
Yes.
By Bruno is your former boyfriend?
Yes.
Okay. And with this smart jail mail system, were you communicating with him as well?
With my ex?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so that's the testimony done. The reason why I brought in that testimony and the reason why I highlighted, I thought it was an interesting testimony, is what happened next, which was the testimony on in regards to the mother telling Juliana that to tell the detectives that Brendan was planning the entire thing. Let's hear it out.
First time that you said it, that Brendan, in time, on October 26, 2024, is that the first time that you said what your mother's written here?
The first time I said what?
What your mother has written in this message.
Well, that's the only one I see here. I don't remember if she had said it before. I can recall.
I'm not asking about whether she said it. I'm asking about whether you said it.
But I'm confused because this is a message from my mom to me, not from me to her. So I don't know what I said before this.
Well, it appears she's telling you to tell Tess or them that Brendan planned the whole thing.
Well, that's what she said, yes.
Okay. And what I'm asking is, was that the day when you told the police that Brendan planned the whole thing?
I had mentioned to my mom before about the plea. I had mentioned to her that I was thinking about taking the plea. And I had the reasons I was scared of why I didn't take the plea. And this message, that's when I told her that I had signed the plea, and that's what she responded to me. But she was aware before that I was thinking about taking the plea.
So you had signed the plea on the 26th of October?
Now I don't remember the date.
Do you remember the plea as being October 29th? 3 days later?
Yeah, the baker said yes.
So when was it that you made the agreement to the plea that you signed and was executed on October 29th?
Okay, so the plea that she was offered the plea deal first, and she rejected it. This is where the key central theory for the defense opened up, because their opening statements, the main opening statement that they gave was Juliana is not credible. Juliana is going to testify to everything that the defense has said. She is only out for herself, basically. I think that's my own personal characterization of my interpretation of the theory, but that's basically the what they were saying. And this opening, in my opinion, this is the opening where they can really drive that theory home, because why would you reject the plea in the first place and then go back and take the plea if you were not planning to give say anything that they want or would do anything to make him culpable? The only reason one could imagine for this U-turn by Juliana is the fact that she realized that she's actually in deep S, and that's why also it correlates with why the defense brought out the testimony in regards to her being depressed, etc., because the reality of it is setting onto her about all this happening. That's what I'm gauging from it, as well as the meds and all that being in likelihood to combat the coercion, likely coercion story, testimonies that are going to come. This is the last part of the clip that I'm going to play, and this is to bolster because this is part of day 3. Day 3 rolled around, and it was a lot of technical witnesses coming in to present hard evidence to basically tie Brendan to the crime. This testimony by Kenneth Faulkner went on to show, or at least bolster, the story that was given by Juliana about moving into the bedroom where Brendan Banfield and Christine used to share.
Hygiene products.
Her personal effects?
Yes.
All right. Commonwealth's 93, is this Juliana's closet?
This is.
All right. Was there anything that caught your attention in that closet?
There were red lingerie style clothing items, and then the yellow t-shirt with the green border on the sleeves.
Did you have the opportunity to look for any signs of forced entry in the home?
I did.
Okay, and did you make any observations that would have indicated there was a struggle at any other area in the home other than the primary bedroom?
I did not locate any obvious signs.
No sign of forced entry.
23.
No sign of forced entry. So that means there is no way the intruder could have been an intruder. That's what that's for.
Did you inspect the bedroom that had been Juliana's?
Yes.
Directing you to Commonwealth's 94, is this the same room?
This is the same room.
How were you able to identify it?
The
flag.
Brazilian flag above the bed.
Did you notice that anything had changed?
There were no longer any items in the closet.
How about anywhere else in the room? Were her personal effects still on that dresser, if you recall?
I do not recall the dresser.
So,
Okay. Did you eventually find?
so she had already moved now into the home, which is where the items were found. This is where she had moved from her bedroom onto here. So yeah, that's everything from day 1 to day 3. This was the beginning of day 3. The next witnesses that went on to provide was it was testimony from Terry Leash. He showed the contents of, this is basically the trial report for day 3. He showed the contents that were found in Joseph's bag. He also showed that the droplets, he also testified that the staining on Brendan's pants was consistent, was basically sent to the lab for further examination. This is where, I forgot her name already, forgot her name. It was the DNA analyst. He basically connected Brendan's DNA to Christine. Well, basically Christine's DNA on Brendan's genes that was recovered here. So you can go check out that report should you wish. But I just want to end with this. Because what I think is gonna go on, and listen, the defense theory has really stumped me in a way, because on their opening statements, they did not even mention a core theory. They didn't give anything to kind of allude to why they are presenting this particular case the way they are. You know, all they were talking about was Juliana is not credible. And this got me thinking, why would you not do that? I have compared this case. Why would you not, give your core theory about what you think had happened that would exonerate your client? Because nothing has been established to kind of nothing has been theorized to basically kind of show how Brendan is not involved in this. And I was comparing it to a case like Monica Cementilli, because it's quite similar here. It's just the gender is reversed, where Monica had killed her husband. This is the wife. But I was comparing it to that case. At least they had a central theory to at least show that how Monica was probably robbed, brought into the whole thing and remove her involvement. That was Monica's team. But for Brendan's team, we don't have that. I had to listen. I had to think of so many scenarios, and the movie Interstellar popped into my head for some reason, because I saw what was going on there in how that movie turned out to be a time travel movie, but that wasn't what they began with. Like the way that that movie was set up, you would not want to go see it. At least in my opinion, I wouldn't have gone to see it if it was a time travel movie. I was sick of it personally. But when I sat down to watch the movie, right, and believe me, I'm making a point with this. When I sat down to watch the movie and it got to a time travel scene, it made sense why it was a time travel movie in the end, even though it was quite corny and I was kind of angry. But the experience was enough for me to forgive all that. And I thought of the inverse here, because I was like, what if what's going on this trial, what if Brendan's team is building up to a piece of evidence that they do have, and then they're gonna present their alternate theory by getting the witness, whoever the witness is, to testify to this alternate theory, confirm it, and then on closing arguments, they're going to reveal what that theory is. Maybe that's the play, because I have been confused. So anyway, I do think that Juliana being subject to recall is going to have a big impact on the case. She could be recalled by the state. She could be recalled by the defense. Who knows? So that's why I think there is something coming in regards to that. I do think day 4, the prosecution has the opportunity to build on the installation of the Windows testimony, because I think someone on X, also known as Twitter, I hate calling it X, to be honest, it's Twitter. Someone on Twitter basically pointed out that the Windows was being installed because they didn't want Christine's screams to be heard by the general public, which I think is a very interesting catch. I didn't catch it at all. So yeah, so they might be building up on that. We might see witnesses like Patrice and Pamela, where Juliana Magalhaes are testified to. But anyway, I don't want to keep much of your time. This was supposed to be 30 minutes. We have 4 minutes over. Hopefully, I have done a good job in catching you up on the key details that you need going into day 4. Without further, I'm gonna sign off there. I go by the name of Hines, your friendly neighborhood Ketchup man, and thank you for tuning in to Ketchup Court Recap Show. I will see you tomorrow for another recap after today is over. Take care now. Bye for now. Thank you everyone for tuning in for another Ketchup Court live stream. Make sure that you smash that like button as well as hitting that subscribe button to be notified of our future live streams. We go live regularly, bringing you case updates and recaps of ongoing trials. So make sure you hurry back on the next live stream. We also have more content on the channel that you can binge on. Check out the playlist that we have showcasing all of these contents. Without further, I go by the name of Heinz, your friendly neighborhood ketchup man, and I'll see you back in court.